Let's talk about the 2 reasons why RSPs are still the best way for almost all Canadians to save for retirement. For some reason, RSPs get a bad rap from some people, and I think that's because one day they were talking about them with a friend, and then their friend was just like, RSPs are brutal, and never really explained why they think RSPs are brutal. And I think it's the exact same thing as 2 buddies sitting down thinking about going for lunch one day, and then the one friend says, you know, I've heard donairs are good, let's go for a donair. And then his friend is like, no man, donairs are disgusting. So they don't go, and then for like 5 years this guy never tries a donair, till one day he has some beers, goes for a donair with some other friends, and he's like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever put in my mouth. And so he calls his friend and he's like, what the hell were you talking about, man? Donairs are amazing. And his friend is like, oh, I've never actually even tried a donair. I just heard they were disgusting, so I told you they were. That's the exact same thing. I mean, maybe not exactly, but it's close. You get the point. The first reason why RSPs are so awesome is what everybody knows, is that you get money back from taxes when you invest inside of your RSP or contribute to your RSP. I'm going to explain later why you get back what you get back. And this is great. This is actually nice of the Canadian government, and it's their way of incentivizing you to put money into savings for retirement. So that's absolutely awesome. You get some free money back, and if you can use that money to your advantage, then you're going to be able to save way more or pay your house off faster. So I'll talk about those strategies in the coming weeks. And the next thing that's so great about RSPs that people don't really understand how great it actually is the tax deferred growth inside of the RSP. So I've heard on occasion from people, they say, you know what, Ken, you just can't make money inside your RSP. And whenever I hear that, I just kind of laugh, because it's actually the exact opposite. You can make way more money inside of your RSP than you can investing elsewhere, with the exception of the tax-free savings account. So let's give this example of these 2 friends again. They're sitting down and talking about investing in weed stocks, and they both have $50,000. So friend 1 that doesn't like donairs invests his $50,000 in a weed stock in a non-registered account, and the other guy has $50,000 in his RSP, so he buys the weed stock inside of his RSP. And a year later, these guys did really well, and they decided to sell when it hit $100,000. They did the right thing, and they sold and decided that they were going to invest in a more diverse portfolio going forward. Well, the guy that doesn't like donairs with the non-registered account, let's say he had a 40% marginal tax rate, he's going to owe $10,000 worth of tax at the end of that year. Therefore, he's left with $90,000 to invest going forward. But the other guy still has that full $100,000 inside of his RSP to keep growing, and compound growth, as you all know, is like the greatest thing in the world. So an even better example of how bad this can affect people is if they're conservative investors, because they're going to be taxed twice as much on the growth if it's interest growth. So let's say these 2 guys are the same, but they're really conservative investors, so they're invested in a fixed income portfolio that generates an average of 3% a year. Now they both started with $100,000, and in the first year they each made $3,000. Now they're both in the 40% tax bracket, so guy 1 in the non-registered account is going to be taxed $1,200. He's left with $101,800, which next year is going to grow to $104,854, and that growth is going to be taxed. Well, the other guy made $3,000, and then now he's making 3% on $103,000, so the next year he has $106,090. And that's just going to keep adding up. So let's look at this over 30 years. The guy in his RSP has over $242,000 in his RSP, where the other guy has just over $170,000. So you say, well, yeah, Kent, but that's tax coming out of the RSP. Yes, it is, but basically the bottom line is the only time you don't want to invest in your RSP to save for retirement is if you're in a position where you're actually going to have to pay more tax pulling the money out than you got back putting it in. And it's pretty rare, but it happens. So that's the big no-no that you want to look out for. But otherwise, investing in your RSP is awesome, and you can really, really take advantage of the tax-deferred growth. Thank you.